Now, for some perspective on this situation, I'm joined now by Bill Schneider. He's a professor of public policy at George Mason University and author of Standoff, How America Became Ungovernable. Bill, welcome to our show.
Thank you.
President Trump said he will close border with Mexico if Mexico doesn't do more. Do you think he is, again, bluffing, or there's more substance in his threat this time around?
Well, I don't think he's bluffing. The problems of border apprehensions have gotten worse. There are more illegal immigrants trying to cross the border than we've seen in a long time. And Mr. Trump is not usually someone who bluffs idly. When he makes a threat, he tries to carry it out.
And do you think he has the power vested in him to carry out this threat? Are there enough Border Patrol agents, for example? Can he do that? To
close the border, he's going to recruit a lot more. He might have to use the military. It'll be a drastic step, and it's likely to have devastating impact on the economy along the border, which is very well integrated between the United States and Mexico. There are a lot of people who go back and forth every single day. They have for hundreds of years. So it could have devastating consequences.
Yeah, that really leads to my next question. The economy of Mexico and America are so intertwined, and for our global audience who might not be familiar with the situation, can you tell them how bad the situation would be economically if he does close the border?
Well, it's interesting that people along the border, most of them don't think it would be a good idea because they depend on workers from the other side of the border. The labor force is very strong. There are factories where Americans work in Mexican factories. I mean, the permeability of the border has been a fact of life there for an awfully long time. What's happening is that most of the new refugees, the new immigrants who come across the border now, many of them illegal, are refugees. They're families. They're people who are looking to have a secure life or to make more money. Some of them are criminals. Some of them are dangerous people, but most of them probably are not. And it's a drastic step to just make no distinction between them and just put up a figurative wall along the border.
So who do you think President Trump's audience is this time around when he says he's willing to close off the border with Mexico? Do you think it is Mexico, or is it his supporters here domestically in the U.S.?
It's his base. He governs for the benefit of his base. That's the only people he cares about. It's an unusual thing for a president. He's made no pledge and no effort whatsoever to heal the division of the country. He exploits it. And one of the steps he's using to exploit that division is to pledge to his base he's going to build a wall. If he can't build a wall, he's going to close the border, wall off the United States figuratively. He's governing for the people who support him, which is about 1/3 of the American public.
How effective do you think the threat will be received by his core supporters?
His core supporters who are all over the country, they will cheer. They will say, he's doing what he promised. He's fighting for us. He's doing what we want. Many of them just don't like immigrants. They don't live along the border. They're not affected by immigration. But the idea of illegal immigration is deeply offensive to them. It's a moral issue. If you talk about illegal immigrants, they say, what part of illegal don't you understand? People are breaking the law, and they want something done about it, and he's really catering to that base.
Let's talk about the necessity of building a wall. For many countries, they're sovereign, independent countries with strong rule of law, such as China and Singapore. People over there say there is a necessity to stop the illegal immigrants. There are simply too many of them, arguably, here in this country. But many say America is a different country. It is a country of immigrants since day one. So what do you think of the necessity of building a wall?
I don't think it's necessary for one simple reason. It won't work. A wall will not work. If there's a wall, they'll figure out a way to get under the wall or over the wall or around the wall, or they'll come in by water or they'll come in by plane. Most of the smuggling and most of the illegal immigrants who come to the United States don't simply show up at the southern border. They come through legal ports of entry. Most of the illegal drugs that come to the United States come legally from ports of entry. Not legally, illegally, but through legal ports of entry. Right. So I don't think a wall will work. And the president insists that it will. We can just wall off the country to the rest of the world. It won't work.
Bill Schneider, thank you so much for your insight.